So I already see a question about whether this webinar will be recorded. Yes, it will, and we will make it available on YouTube um, in a few days or a week. All right, I think the number of participants is stabilizing, so we can get started. Thank you to everyone for joining this new DigiShares webinar, the first one of 2025. So Happy New Year to everyone. And the year is starting strong here at DigiShares with the launch of DigiShares Launch, which is a new product that we're going to present to you today. On the webinar, we have, of course, our CEO, Klaus Skonning, and we have our head of product, Adam Blajek, who's going to present the platform to everyone. If you wish to participate and ask a question, please use the Q&A section and not the chat section. It makes things much easier for us to filter through questions and answers. Sometimes we'll answer the question in writing directly into Zoom. And of course, sometimes we'll answer live. So please use the Q&A section and not the chat section. All right, I think we can get started. I will be just going through a quick general presentation of DigiShares before we get started with the demo by Adam, and then we are going to go to a Q&A session. So please feel free to ask questions. All right, I will share my screen. Here we go. Hopefully everyone can see. So DigiShares, you probably know us. We provide a tokenization platform for mostly real estate assets, but any kind of real world asset. So we cover the full life cycle of tokenization. The platform enables the creation of security tokens, the management of a tokenized investor base, and then the infrastructure for trading between those investors. And historically, we've only had a white label solution. But now with DigiShares Launch, that is about to change. But so historically, we've been providing the most customizable of all the tokenization platforms with a white label model. Of course, that will still be going strong moving forward. And we make the platform, the white label platform, very customizable with our open APIs. Our clients can heavily customize the UI UX, can even add integrations with payment processors or KYC providers without even speaking with us, just using our APIs, and they can integrate with their own solution, either a platform or a mobile app. So we provide a lot of independence to our clients. Our philosophy is really we deliver the tools to our clients, kind of like a Shopify, and then our clients run with it. Of course, we're there to roll out updates and provide tech support, fix bugs. But ultimately, we want the client to be as independent as possible. So that doesn't mean that we leave the client in the dark when it comes to compliance. Compliance is very important. So we've built over the years a network of law firms that some of whom we actually work with as a company. But these are law firms that we know are serious securities attorneys but also have knowledge of tokenization and the specificities that can bring. So yeah, our clients are in good hands with our law firm partners. We also have a resource internally, our legal counsel, Anne, who can help our clients determine what the best jurisdiction is for their project. So we don't provide legal services, but we can help with a more high-level legal discussion, and then we hand off the client to one of our law firms in our partner networks. And finally, there's gonna be a specific slide on this later. We're launching a RealEstate.Exchange in a few weeks. This will be a trading venue for tokenized real estate shares. So there was a big need in the market for this to make it very easy to list a real estate asset and enable investors to trade. And we're delivering on that with RealEstate.Exchange. So I'll get it into that into more detail in a few minutes. Okay. So the benefits of tokenization, briefly, there are two core benefits in our opinion. These benefits are caused by the massive automation and cost reduction made possible by blockchain technology. And the two main benefits are, on the one side, the ability to massively broaden your investor base. So you can fractionalize shares at will, and then investors in a foreign country can purchase those shares or fractions of shares from you directly in a peer-to-peer manner at a very, very, very low cost. So there's no dealing with the SWIFT network and the high bank wire fees. Anyone with a crypto wallet can just, from halfway around the world, can purchase shares in your issuance very easily and at a very low cost. So that's the first core benefit. The second one is those investors can then trade on a secondary market that today is pretty much impossible for private assets. So it's really opening up the private capital markets to this ability to trade on a secondary market, and that will lead to massive democratization. Just like for the stock market, NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, led to massive democratization of ownership in our largest and most successful companies. Well, blockchain technology, tokenization, will lead to democratization of ownership in pretty much any asset now. So there are two trends converging. There's first, on the one side, an appetite for real world assets, mainly real estate, you can see the interest for REITs, for example, in the US. And then on the other side, there's the adoption of Web3 technology with wallets being the main product, and the convergence of both means that there will be a need for tokenized shares. You'll have millions of people. You probably already have millions of people with wallets that want to invest in real world assets on chain, and tokenization makes that possible. So yeah, there's been a lot of predictions as to how big this market will be, but it seems like experts agree on at least a few trillion. So yeah, just as a point of reference, the global real estate market is around 300 trillion. So yeah, that gives you maybe a reference for these numbers. And speaking of the real estate market, there is an appetite from investors for real world assets like real estate, but today there's very low exposure to these types of assets from retail investors. So retail investors hold pretty much half of global wealth, but only 5% of liquid alternative assets. So there's a big gap there, a gap that is much smaller for listed stocks. And hopefully it'll become smaller for real estate and other real world assets thanks to tokenization. And there's also this is also an issue. This lack of liquidity is also an issue for larger investors, for institutional investors, because if there is a higher liquidity risk, so a higher risk that they cannot sell their shares if they need to, then they're not able to allocate as much to the asset class. So by providing the rails for tokenization and to make this asset class more liquid, we think institutional investors will allocate more to the asset class. Just a summary on DigiShares, the entire life cycle that we cover. So on the issuance side, we're blockchain agnostic. That's very important to us. You can tokenize on Ethereum, on Polygon, on Polymesh, for example, which is a purpose-built blockchain for securities, on Phantom and on some others. So we'll always be blockchain agnostic. Once you've configured your shares and connected your wallet, you can just mint them directly to your wallet, and the security tokens are created, and then investors can come in through the DigiShares platform and purchase those tokenized shares from you. So we have the entire flows that make sure everything is compliant with KYC, AML integrations. We have the DocuSign and electronic signature integrations so that investors can sign subscription agreements. We have integrations with for wallets, self-custodial wallets, custodial wallets, and integrations for fiat payment and crypto payments. Then on the trading side, there is a marketplace functionality within the DigiShares platform. So that's if you want an internal walled garden where your investors can trade. That will always be under the license of a regulated partner of ours. But then you can also choose to list your security tokens on an external exchange. So one like RealEstate.Exchange, which I'm going to speak about right now, actually. So RealEstate.Exchange is our response to the need in the market that we've identified for a secondary trading venue that made it very easy for real estate companies to list their assets and enable their investors to trade. So there are other solutions in the market today, but they make sometimes the process a bit more complicated than it needs to be and a bit more expensive. And so a lot of our clients have been asking us for years to find a solution. So this is our response. We want to make RealEstate.Exchange the main venue where tokenized real estate is traded. So you have instantaneous settlement peer-to-peer between wallets. There's no this acts as a replacement for the need of an escrow. So there is no way for the transaction to only happen partially. It either happens fully, so on both sides, the stable coins are sent to the seller's wallet, and the security tokens are sent to the buyer's wallet, or there's no transaction at all. each investor can bring their own wallet that they can use throughout the Web3 ecosystem. Um, it's important to note that retail investors can participate in RealEstate.Exchange in the US. For example, after a 1-year lockup period, an institutional or accredited investor can sell to retail investors. And yeah, this is all under the license of our ATS partner, Texture Capital. So they have the SEC license that enables them to have a venue for the trading of securities, which is quite different from the crypto exchanges that we all know. That's a different kind of license of regulatory regime for those. So for securities, you have a very specific regime with the ATS license. So yeah, and as I said, very competitive listing and transaction fees. We want to make this as easy as possible for everyone. And also, we're working with Polygon on a decentralized ID framework, which basically would enable people to port their KYC to many different platforms within the Web3 ecosystem so that you don't have to go through KYC every time you join a new platform. So ideally, in a few months or years, people will have their wallet, they'll have um, um, a token that uh, states that they've successfully gone through KYC once, and it'll have that information in the token. And once you connect your wallet to a new platform, you're automatically let in um, because thanks to that token that contains that information. Obviously, the information is secured on chain and is not visible to any other third party. But the success or failure of the KYC will be visible by the platform that is welcoming the investor, and by connecting your wallet, you'll be able to get in directly. So that's a big innovation that we're very excited about. Um, we are launching the US version of RealEstate.Exchange in Q1 this year. So it'll be in a few weeks. It'll be an order book version, but we're also working on an automated market maker version for the UAE, South Africa, and the European Union. We're actually in the European Union's very selective sandbox process. So a lot of discussions with regulators. Um, and if you're interested in listing on RealEstate.Exchange, please reach out to us. So this is just a summary of our pricing real quick. So historically, we've only had the standard and advanced options, and now with launch, you can see that the fees can massively come down. It's a very simplified version of the platform. It's plain vanilla. You don't have to worry about customizing everything or setting up third-party accounts with providers. Everything is out of the box and made so that you can start tokenizing pretty much immediately. So this pricing is available on our website. You can feel free to explore a bit more on the website, but you can see that Launch has all of the basic functionality that is necessary to create the security tokens, manage investors, and then connect the investors to a secondary trading venue. Then if you want the white label and the APIs and more integration options and admin dashboard options, you can go with the standard or advanced versions of the platform. All right. So, here, that's just a bit more on the pricing so that everybody has a clear picture of the third party costs if you choose the white label version. But if you want to go into details on this, please go on our website or feel free to reach out. All right, so that's it for this presentation. Um, I will hand it over to Adam, who will go through a demo of DigiShares Launch. So our new platform, we're very excited. It's really, we hope it's gonna democratize tokenization to any issuer who's interested. Only need a couple $1,000s and a couple hundred a month to get started with this platform, fully on chain. No need to worry about customizations, third-party accounts, and all of that. And yeah, can get started immediately by going to our website if you'd like. So with that, I'll hand it over to Adam.
Great. Hey, everyone. Let me just start off by very quickly sharing my screen. So let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see it.
Great. So traditionally, the platform consisted of three parts, specifically the project admin, the platform admin, and then of course on investor side, where the investors actually make the investments. With Launch, what we've done is take the integral parts of the platform admin, which I'll log into right now and talk about in a bit more detail, and effectively transferred them over to the project specific administrator. The setup of the platform is that there's a single main company and then the various different projects, and every single project acted as an island. That is still completely true. Every single project can still be completely unique in the presentation, in the share structure, in the types of emails that the projects send out, the contents of those emails, all of that is still there in terms of customizability. But with Launch, what we've done is we pre-configured the configuration of the platform itself and consolidated everything into a single main view. So I'll switch over to the project-specific administrator log in with the login details that I have, and I will be presented with a new method of switching between the various different projects. Specifically, it's an interim view where all of the details of the projects that I manage are now summarized. They're summarized in this overview page. And within this overview page, I can very easily switch between the existing projects that I have, or edit some of the settings that affect all of the projects, such as the emails, how I want to be presented when I click on the description of my profile, and of course, all of the investors that I have. With that, we've also changed the method of creating a project. Previously, a project could only be created within the platform administrator. You had to have platform administration privileges and go through the various different modules and set up every single step throughout. But here, we've simplified it where you simply need to click the Create New Project button. You enter a title. I'll just give it an example. The title. I tell it from what date is the offering actually going live. I'll set it to today. And then I have the ability to customize the project card itself. And this is the place where we spend most of our time creating the launch product, which is maintaining the philosophy that we have, which is customizability. But in the context of launch, you're not customizing the platform itself, you're customizing the offering presentation itself. So we have the project card. The project card has an image that you can upload. It has a title that you've set on the first step. You're presented as the seller. Of course, if you want, you can change the title at any point. You can add a descriptor that goes onto the project card itself. And then you have the attributes list. The attributes, they fall into two categories. automated ones, such as the number of investors that are currently present within the offering, and additional ones that you've created, bespoke ones. So for example, I have one that's called ROI. I can put in, let's say, 5% as my return on investment type. I just typed in type, but it can be type of offering as an example. And I can just type in make. I save it, and I can now see how the project card will appear to the investors. With that, the final step is effectively loading up the offerings images, documents that the investors can download, and perhaps a quick overview. Or alternatively, if I want to, I can also just upload a single PDF, and the PDF will contain all of the information necessary for the investors to look through and download. With that, I finalize the offering. The offering, if I now go here on the platform administrator, and if I refresh the platform admin, it will also appear here as the example project. And by default, it's set as inactive because I have a switch enabled that deactivates it by default. But if I activate it, it will also appear within the list of active offerings for the launch client. And there we go. It'll effectively load it up. All of the offerings, and the example title is going to be a completely empty offering. Just have to re-log in because I activated it, and then I'll be able to effectively view what I have within the example title. It's going to be completely empty, but it's still interesting to see what an empty offering looks like. Effectively has no shares, and I only have 7 entities that are associated with this offering because it grabs the entities from the previous offerings. I can see the activities related to this specific administrator and the various different classes that I can have. Share class creation previously also only existed within the platform admin, but that has also been ported over, so it now exists within the management of the shares section. And let me just load it up. If I have the rights, I do not, so let me very quickly just add the rights to that. Permission groups. Ah, yes, here it is. I'm missing this permission group. Global, all rights. There we go. There we go. And I'll just make sure that it is connected to my admin. Let me also just do that here real quick. All of this would be pre-configured for you. So the platform admin is only usable by the standard clients, but it still effectively is usable. There we go. Good. And what I can also do is I can not only view the various different shares, but I can also view the investors. Let me just go to a project that has an already existing set of clients, such as the example, the commercial building here. With here, everything remains exactly as it was. So I have my quick overview of the shares, number of individuals, number of entities. I can view the various different investors that I have, and the various different classes of shares that they hold within them. And also, if I go into the management of shares within here, I can see the list of shares that I had previously. So within here, these are already existing class of shares that I minted previously, but I can very easily add a brand new class of share that is specific to the platform itself, or I can create a new tokenized class of share, and the tokenized class of share exists on ERC 1404, and with 1404, the shares can be taken off of the platform very, very easily. Everything still remains. So if I go into Class D, I can also edit the intricate details of a class of share, such as nominal value, market value, the minimum number of shares an investor must purchase, maximum number of shares one can purchase per purchase, and the maximum ownership percentage that one can have within a specific project, and the secondary market details within the walled garden that we have, such as the minimum trade price, maximum trade price, the number of shares that one can trade, and then of course from when to when can the trade actually be executed. And once you have a project that is populated with the investors, you can also see them within the share register. The share register holds the investor's first name and last name, the various different classes of shares that they hold, the nominal value, the market value, quantity, amount invested, and the voting power that they have. For exporting the info, we still allow for PDF, JSON, and CSV-based exports. So yeah, effectively Launch is the interim view here on the agent view and the simplified method of creating the project itself. And if at any point a client wants to upgrade from the Launch version to the standard version, because they share the exact same code base, jumping from one version to another is actually quite easy. All it takes on our end is just to change a few values within the database. Once we do, the version of the platform also changes. So jumping from one version to the next is quite easy. So yeah, that would be an overview of Launch. There's also going to be a specific Launch promo video that's going to be on YouTube, which is effectively also going to show the Sums Up flow. Sums Up is the preferred provider for the KYC process, and we'll also demonstrate how the flow looks like on there. So yeah, that would be it.
Thank you, Adam. We're going to go straight to the Q&A. Just a reminder to all participants to use the Q&A section in Zoom and not the chat section to participate. We already have about a dozen questions, the first of which you partially answered. So it's about the ability to shift, to start with the Launch platform and then shift to the white label at some point. So yes, it is possible. And how much will it cost? Well, you'll just have to pay the difference of price between both. So another question is, do we have a function for voting or proposing initiatives? Yes, we do. Adam, I don't know if you want to show just in 30 seconds, or if it's
Yeah. One second, please.
Yeah, I'll go on another. I'll answer another question first while you get it up and running. There's a question about whether we support Solana. We don't as of today. We support Ethereum, Polygon, Polymesh, and Phantom. We have a few others that are going to be on the roadmap. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we did support Solana. And for clients who are interested in the white label solution and necessarily want Solana, we can discuss making the platform compatible with Solana for a small extra fee. So we don't want to reject a client just because of the choice of blockchain. So we're always open to discussion to add more blockchains. Yeah, Adam, so the floor is yours for the just a very quick demo of the voting functionality.
Yeah, effectively, there is voting functionality. Voting can be sort of categorized into 3 different methods of counting. Voting per user, where every single user is counted equally. We can also sway the voting power based on the number of shares one holds or by the amount invested. Then everything becomes freeform. We input a title, a start date, an end date. We input the details of the voting itself, and then the various different options that the investors can vote on. And all of this is text, free-form text, so you can input anything that you want.
Great. Thank you. So we have a question about whether bids and asks will sync across exchanges if a token is listed on multiple external exchanges. I don't believe there's a mechanism for that today. Um, I know that I was at a conference once with quite a few ATS representatives on stage, and they were discussing how that could be possible in the future, if there was like a centralized on-chain price discovery a mechanism, and where each ATS could plug in, but this is not something that exists today. But that's a good question, and it's something that they're speaking about, and so I'm sure it'll happen in the future. Um, So another question is about ATSs or our partnership with Texture Capital. The partnership with Texture is one of an API integration. So they have a back-end technological infrastructure that enables compliance with SEC regulations. So we communicate the information that is required under SEC regulation to Texture, and then Texture makes sure that SEC regulations are followed, and they have a yearly audit, just like all broker-dealer ATSs. And so the partnership is an integration. They do not white label the DigiShares platform under that partnership. Um, um, as is asked by the attendee. It's really just that API and integration. We're the entire front end um, and smart contracts, and it's just that our systems are communicating. Adam, I don't know if you have anything to add to that, or um,
No, no, very, very nicely put.
okay, thanks. I never know when it gets a little bit technical. So, all right, on to the next question. Where are the servers for the SaaS solution? How will we manage data privacy requirements for different jurisdictions? So, Adam, we use Google Cloud Platform,
Correct.
right?
Correct. And just for Launch also, Launch itself has different jurisdictions that it will operate in depending on the client. It's either going to be a European server, a North American server, or in certain cases, if need be, we can have location-specific servers be deployed, which is very popular in the Middle East.
So just to be clear, this is an option offered by Google. You can
Yes, 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 it
you
is.
can
We have the
select
ability to choose. Yeah.
exactly. Um, So yeah, on to the next question. Please clarify what you don't get if choosing launch instead of standard. So you don't get the ability to white label. You don't get API access. You don't get some of the other more advanced integrations that we have, like, multiple fiat payment integration options, or multiple KYC or e-signature integration options. Um, those are the main differences. Is there anything else, Adam, you can think of
One
that's
thing I
key?
would also add are translations. So translations are also locked to the standard version, and changing overall the language that exists within the platform. That's locked away for the standard version.
Thank you. Um, all right. Do we have to display the number of investors? Um, I guess not. I mean, whatever is required under to be compliant in your jurisdiction. I know that sometimes for crowdfunding, you have to say um, You have to communicate, how far along in the raise you are and if you've reached specific targets. But like we don't have a requirement for you to display the number of investors. Um, there's a question about whether we can show the user investor view of RealEstate.Exchange. There will be a specific webinar in the next few weeks on RealEstate.Exchange. We've also done at least one in the past a few months ago that you can find on our YouTube channel. So there's a question about by Laura. As an issuer, if I upload my offering to this platform, am I provided a unique landing page for my investors? Or will the offering be alongside other issuers on the platform? You will have your landing page that will be separated from other DigiShares Launch users. So it's not like a crowdfunding platform, like Republic or Start Engine, where people access the platform and they see all of their clients' offerings. This is very much still a a private a private platform that will be used by each client. It's just that they won't be able to white label the launch version. All right, there's another question about the difference with the standard platform, which we already spoke of. By the way, thank you for all of these questions. I see that there are a lot that are still coming in. Hopefully we can get to all of them. So if an issuer subscribes to Launch, what happens if there's an issue and we have questions and need help? Well, you can always reach out to us. We'll provide you with a tech support address. If there's any issue, please reach out to us. Also, if you have general questions, it's not like we will leave you completely in the dark with the Launch platform and not help you if something doesn't work. There will always be the opportunity for tech support. Is it possible to tokenize bonds? Yes. There's no limitation regarding what type of security you can or can't tokenize. You just have to check within your jurisdiction, with your legal counsel, whether it is possible to tokenize certain types of securities. But generally, it is there are more restrictions on equity than debt securities. So if a jurisdiction enables tokenization, it is very highly likely that you'll be able to tokenize bonds. Is Launch exclusively for real estate? No, it is not. You can tokenize any kind of real world asset, private asset. So sometimes we get questions about, whether it's possible to use our platform to tokenize listed stocks. No, it is not. This is specifically for private assets. And we have clients in the precious metals space, in the wine and spirits industry, in the energy industry, and even some more general capital market firms that have clients in in many different industries, like just industrial SMEs or things like that. So it's not only for real estate. RealEstate.Exchanges, though, as you could probably guess from the name. Who is the legal issuer of the tokenized securities and in which jurisdiction? That depends on the client. Our clients are the issuers of the tokenized securities, and they will choose the jurisdiction that makes the most sense for them. So there's a question about the legal structure for fundraising. Um, um, in the US, there's Reg D, Reg S, Reg A, Reg CF. So as of today, the DigiShares platform on its own supports Reg D and Reg S, so capital raisings targeting US accredited investors or any kind of non-US investor. Through a partnership that we have with the BitGo transfer agent called Brassica, we can also support Reg A. And with regards to Reg CF, things are a bit more complicated on the regulatory front. Um, we do not support Reg CF as of today, but it is on the roadmap. What's important to understand with Reg CF is you have to go through a FINRA funding portal, and generally those take like a 5% cut on any investment that's coming in. So that's not our business model today. And as Laura was asking previously, like those kinds of platforms generally put all of the client's issuances side by side. So it's a bit of a different model. It's something that we've been looking at for a while, but that we don't support as of today. Oh, there was a excuse my cough. I'm getting over the flu. But does our platform support capital raises without filing with the SEC? I would say no. You do not want to create a securities issuance without respecting the SEC regulations. Can you operate the program only on fiat money to start? So it's important to note that DigiShares Launch is fully on chain. Investors will use stable coins, most likely like USDC, to purchase the tokenized shares. So all you need to do as an investor is set up a Coinbase account or similar, so that you can go back and forth between fiat currency and cryptocurrency, uh, and yeah, just purchase USDC for US investors that have Coinbase. Actually, there's no transaction fee or exchange fee to go from USD to USDC. And then yeah, you just put that USDC in your self-custodial wallet, and you can go to any DigiShares launch or DigiShares white label platform and purchase shares. On the
And
DigiShares white label, it is of course possible to pay with fiat currency. Yeah, Adam?
just to extend the answer, we're also very much considering putting in fiat into launch also, just not in an automated fashion. So it would only be available as a manual payment option where the investors indicate that a transfer has been made and then the administrator has to approve it. So no automation in the fiat form, but fiat, we've talked to quite a few of our clients. They are all asking about fiat. So likely, very, very likely, I would say it's even imminent that fiat is within launch. So yeah, it's going to be in launch.
All right, let's see. Even I'm learning things in this webinar. So it's great to hear that we're adapting quickly to client demands. All right. Can you monitor any 1 year restriction on 506C, so Reg D 506C accredited investor, and also Reg S investors who have that same lockup period of 1 year. Yes, you not only can monitor it, you can configure the lockup at the smart contract level in our token studio. So when you're gonna create your security tokens in our platform, there's going to be a few input fields. One of them is the lockup period. So you're just going to put, 365 days, and then at the smart contract level, it will be impossible to trade the token for a year. If you have a project comprising 30 villas, will it be one project with 30 classes of shares, or will it be 30 different projects? You are free to decide. I think for most of our clients, it's one token per real estate project, but you can have one token that owns a portfolio, or that represents ownership in a portfolio of villas. This is something you have full flexibility on. How many projects can be listed on the launch platform, and does it affect the monthly fee to list multiple projects? Yes, it affects the monthly fee. You can have multiple projects on launch. It's $300 a month per project. If you want to have many projects on launch, we can always discuss discounts for heavy users. But yes, there will always be a supplementary fee for additional issuances on launch. However, the $3,000 fee is a one-time fee only. So what's the difference between the e-signing function in Launch versus the DocuSign Dropbox sign integration in the white label? Maybe I'll let Adam answer that one directly.
Yeah, the launch version is the inbuilt version that we have, so it's an in-house created signing mechanism. While the one with Dropbox Sign and DocuSign, you have to have an account with the provider. You have to then copy the integration keys over to the platform so the platform can read and transfer information between itself and the third party. That's effectively it. So it's a simpler version that you do not need an account for. Everything else remains the same. You still get the functionality of pre-filling documents with information, and people still scribble their signatures at the bottom or yeah, at the end of the document. That's effectively it.
Thank you. So someone's asking in whether clients can add their logo to the DigiShares Launch platform. The answer is no. That's only possible with the white label version. So that's yeah. For launch, you'll have the very beautiful launch logo. I think it's a rocket ship on your on your platform. So we answered about fiat payments on launch. There is a question about what factors move the share price up and down. Is it based on supply and demand or project returns? If your shares are tradable, if you choose to list your shares on an external exchange like RealEstate.Exchange, or if you offer the ability for your investors to trade within the marketplace section of the DigiShares platform, supply and demand will determine the price of shares. Now, that should be indirectly impacted by project returns. Hopefully, investors will make informed decisions. You will provide them with the information for them to make informed decisions. So if there's like an updated cash flow statement that comes in every month or quarter, you will provide that. If there's an updated appraisal, you can share that. But ultimately, yeah, if the shares are freely tradable, the supply and demand will determine the price, and the lockup period we spoke of. It's a regulatory lockup period. In the US, it's a year. It might be different in other jurisdictions. Do we have a sandbox to test? Um, Adam, do we have that for launch? I know we do for the white label.
We do for the white label, and this was actually ran on the white label. So
Okay,
technically, we can leave the white label in its current form for a few days. We might even do a few demos on this, but pretty soon we will have a dedicated server for launch as a form of sandbox.
great. Um, just going through that, there's so many questions. We're probably not going to have time to get to all of them, but and some are very highly specific um, to individual projects. So there's a question from Marco about how to distribute returns to investors. So there is a section um, in the platform where you can send out distributions. Adam, if you still have the 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 demo platform ready, maybe we could do a 30-second demo of the distribution functionality.
Yeah,
Um,
one sec.
yeah, I'll go to another question in the meantime. So someone is asking about what do we mean by white label? So the white label is when you can put your own logo and make the platform look like yours. So what we mean by launch not being white label is that you have the DigiShares Launch logo. So yeah. Um, And yes, the 300 per month is per issuance. Um,
Very quickly, I'll just answer the dividends one. Yes, it is, and dividends effectively uses all the information that it has from the share register. So it will summarize the info within the share register and then make calculations based on that. Dividends can be slotted into two variants: unfinished ones, which are slated for the future or have not been carried out for whatever reason. For example, there was a rejection made by one of the administrators and they're already completed payouts that can pass without any exemptions and ones that might have exemptions. Creating a dividend's quite easy. Effectively, we need to give it a title. Example title. We select a payment channel that is used for the payout. Let's say happens by a bank transfer. We select the class of share that is associated with the calculations themselves, and then how is the calculation carried out? Are we doing a multiplication on the number of shares that they hold, or are we distributing a set number across all of the investors? Say go with the P per share, and then let's say for easy math, I'll just put in 2. So we 2x whatever the investor holds. And then on launch, I don't have the rights right now because I didn't configure it to do so, but it would bring up another page and there effectively it shows you a list. I think I can even show the list here if I click view here. Yeah, I'm not allowed to access the list of investors, but it shows the name, number of shares that they hold, dividend that is to be paid out, and then the status. That's effectively it.
Thank you, Adam. Um, so just yeah, we'll keep going through the questions. By the way, there's almost 50 questions total that were asked. Actually, no more. There were 55 total. So thank you for participating. Um, So there's a question about the choice of blockchain. Yes, you need to choose the blockchain before tokenizing, because the act of tokenizing is creating the tokens on a chain. So you'll select the the chain that you want to use. And there's a question about whether you can transfer tokenized assets from DigiShares Launch to a DeFi exchange. That is not possible as of today. DeFi exchanges do not have the required licenses to support the trading of securities. So the answer would be no as of today. Can people buy tokens internationally? Yes. There's no technological limitation on this. It'll only be a legal limitation. There are some countries like China where you can't participate in purchasing tokenized shares, but in most countries you can. So do you need a legal structure for each country with a share trading license to allow people to buy? No, you won't need a license for each country, but you need to make sure whether you need to file specific paperwork if you want to target investors of a given country. So yeah, always discuss with your legal advisor. You could also schedule a call with our own legal counsel just for a high-level strategic discussion on this. So yeah, feel free to reach out. Is DigiShares the paying agent, settlement, or transfer agent? So we would not. So paying agent, I'm actually not sure what that is. The settlement is done by smart contract. These are atomic swap smart contracts that are designed by DigiShares. Are we a transfer agent? Um, uh, yes, we act as we fulfill the functionalities of a transfer agent, meaning uh, investor management, share cap table management. So we act as the shareholder registry. Um, Currently, we would not be engaged as a US registered transfer agent. We have a partnership with BitGo with their Brassica transfer agent for that. Please note that it is only necessary to use an SEC registered transfer agent for Reg A. So Reg D and Reg S, you do not need one. But our platform does exactly what a registered transfer agent does. Regarding the question on how it works at a regulatory level in the EU, I don't have the qualifications to answer that, but please feel free to reach out and you can speak with our legal counsel. So is there a preferred mechanism for issuers to market or be found by investors on the DigiShares platform? We have some marketing partners that can help you. We have broker-dealer partners that have networks of investors that you can tap into. But ultimately, this is outside of DigiShares. It'll be through partners. But if you have in your country or in your industry, if you have a specialized marketing expert that has had a good track record, you can still use them for social media ads, Google ads, and targeting investors. They'll ultimately just have to drive traffic to your website, and then investors will find the DigiShares launch or white label platform through your website, through like an Invest Now button. Can the secondary market functionality, the peer-to-peer secondary market, be used by itself? Well, we have a client that just uses our marketplace functionality, but so that first of all, that wouldn't be possible with Launch. But if you're interested in white labeling and just having the secondary trading, we could always discuss and see how we can make it happen. Will investors see DigiShares written somewhere on the Launch platform, or will they only see the rocket logo? That's a good question, actually. Adam, do you know?
Yeah, it's going to be within the URL. So within the URL, it will still say DigiShares. So it will be the client name, DigiShares, and then we're still figuring out what the ending is going to be.
Got it. Okay, sorry, there's just a lot of questions still coming in. Is the white label under our own URL? Yeah, it'll be like a neutral URL. So invest dot your company name .com and then slash whatever. So yeah, for the white label, yes, there's no mention of DigiShares in the URL. So there's a question about tax authorities asking DigiShares um, who owns a specific real estate tokens, and whether we'd be required to disclose the legal and beneficial owners of the tokens. I'm not qualified to answer that on the legal front, but of course, if a tax authority um, requires us to do something, we will, I guess, we'll comply. Um, can you tokenize a power plant? Yes, you can. What's being tokenized is a legal entity, and that legal entity can own a power plant or real estate or any type of private asset. Um, so someone is asking about the monthly payment, the timing. What if there's a delay between um, when they sign up and then create their first issuance? So you will be required to pay the monthly fee every month, even if um, there's no issuance. So yeah, we just subscribe to Launch when you're ready with your issuance. Do we own a license or are we a tech provider? We're a tech provider. For RealEstate.Exchange, we will acquire licenses in specific jurisdictions as the months and years go by. Okay, I think we went through as much as we could. There were some hyper specific questions that I don't think would be interesting to the entire audience. So for those that I wasn't uh, that I didn't answer here, please reach out to us. My email is gs@digishares.io. So for those, yeah, very specific questions about your project, please reach out to me uh, and I'll be happy to answer. Um, all right. that's it. Thanks to everyone for joining. And if you're interested in signing up to DigiShares Launch, please visit our website. So that's one of the main differences as well with the white label is that you can just sign up without even speaking with us to the launch product. And yeah, you can start with launch for your first project, your first proof of concept, and then graduate to the white label if you need to. And yeah, we hope you enjoy the product. If you have feedback, please reach out to us. info@digishares.io or my email, gs@digishares.io. Always interested in hearing your feedback. And thank you for joining the webinar. See you next time. Bye, everyone.